What up, guys? Yes, I have finally finished the Nemesis fight. It took a lot out of me, and I was doing it for most of the day, so I was on my bed. I needed to be in a relaxed state to do it, or else there would be too many distractions like porn and stuff, I guess. So I thought I'd do a little bit of a playback of what happened, what I was thinking inside of my head when I did the battle. I think it will give you guys a kind of a good idea about how to approach this fight as well, depending what kind of relics you have as well. So here I was kind of fishing for deployment tactics. I think that would have been the most beneficial roaming warrior I could get in my situation. So my last stand, I think you 100% need last stand for this fight, unless you finish the fight relatively quickly. I highly doubt you will. So definitely need last stand in this fight 99.99% of the time. Native last stand will be better because when you stretch out the fight in the later stages, you would want to keep messing last stand because one of his attacks does 99,999. So here was just protecting myself. Protector, Shelga for the incoming Ultima, and he does double Ultimas. The second one more powerful than the first one. Central's Grimoire, I'd say, is pretty essential as well. Blinks would be pretty good too. So deployment tactics here, mainly because of the two Ultimas, and then later on he does the little raining attacks, which are physical based. So it's fairly important to get Protector in as well. I didn't really worry about power breakdown here at the moment because I think, I don't know, it felt a little bit too early to put it on. I'd much prefer to put in magic breakdown first, because his power attacks later on do a lot more damage anyway. So doing power breakdown now. Ultra Spark is the physical attack, so it does 1k without the power breakdown, so definitely needed an AoE heal, so that's why I put Mako Might on your Stola. Here comes the Asylum. I felt pretty safe after this one. So now completing my power breakdown, he does Ultra Spark 3 more times, I think, or 2 more times. Let's count. This one's the second one. Does pretty much 0 damage for 2 times. I think he did damage to Sarah after the second one. So this was pretty much getting my soul break gauges up. Important to get Onion Knight soul break up first. The majority of my team does have a slow resistance. Only one accessory has major slow resistance, which I put on. I didn't put on Onion Knight, I think. Maybe I did. I don't know. You can see it from the start of the battle. Either that or your Stola. Alright, there goes another Ultima. Really good to get the damage in there. Unfortunately, Snow was slowed, which I didn't really think of it as much of a problem because he does have his BSB mode. Alright, 2k there. Alright, Medica. Now's the chance to just keep using Medicas over and over again. See if I can get the Blink up as soon as possible as well because of the Ultima that's coming up. It's kind of like a 50-50 thing where you do want to get damage because of the deployment tactics, but you do want to keep your characters safe until you get the last stand. Last stand in the initial phases isn't that important until, say, halfway into the battle where he does a lot more harder attacks on you. He can do really quick attacks, so it can get pretty frustrating. So it's really nice to have these instant heals. So Sarah and Yestola seems like a pretty good combo. Even Yestola would have been nice, but I can't put it in my team because I have Snow, and you can't have more than one character in the same realm or else he'll get harder. Ethereal Cannon, he does twice after. So that's kind of your chance to relax, gain your ground until the next Ultima. So here I was keeping on life siphoning with Snow. Later stages I would like to use Omega Drive to get his HP down as soon as possible when he does those 99,999 damage attacks. So there we go. Works out really well because that ethereal attack is magic based, so it didn't affect me. Unfortunately, it took out your Stola's Blink, but that wasn't really a problem for me. I was pretty much just massing Sentinel's Grimoire. I didn't want to kind of mix between Keeper's Tome and Sentinel's Grimoire. I didn't really want to take that risk. Okay, so I'm continuing to break down. At the same time, when I'm breakdowning with Onion Knight, I want to get his BSB up to give him haste if he's slowed, and 2 to spam OSBs on the final phase. So luckily enough, I got my last stand here. Punch him up, Snow. Really, really cool looking attack. Got the last stand now. No one in my party is slowed. You only know if you get slowed after the little raining attack. Alright. I decided to use Swift Spell here just to see how much damage it would do, because I was kind of curious. I'm going to use Frost Charge here to get Snow's attack a little bit more up. I think it's pretty beneficial if you're going to spam Here We Go and Omega Drive later on anyway. Decided to use Asylum here because he's really close to using Ultima again, and I was kind of worried. And also I have Sarah's BSB coming up too. Ethereal Cannon, there we go. Quite a lot of damage there actually. I was thinking that Sentinel's Grimoire must have worn off. Okay, we got our Asylum. Again, I feel kind of safe after this Asylum. Later in the battle, when you cast Asylum, it doesn't really matter. You're still kind of instantly dead if you don't have Last Stand, so you'll see why Last Stand is so important in the later phases if you haven't done the battle already. So I was mixing between Magic Breakdown, Power Breakdown, and using my Soul Break, which was a little bit more difficult because you don't want to be casting like 2 Soul Breaks at the same time, or else the Breakdown will wear off and you're in a hell of a lot of trouble. But like I said, sometimes you want to take more damage to give them more damage as well. At this stage, I think Deployment Tactics was wearing off too, and I was kind of scared. So there we go, Armageddon, which is the attack you kind of need to look out for because it does massive physical damage, ranged physical damage. It ignores Blink, I think, too. Ultra Spark, there we go. Alright, so I was casting Sarah's one because after all these attacks, then he's going to use Ultima. Oh, he can use Meteor as well. And then he's going to use Ultima later. So it was a good time to use Sarah's BSB. I still have my last stand too. Is Sarah going to die here? No, she's still alive. I was fairly lucky that last stand didn't trigger there. It's kind of at the stages where I didn't really know whether to use Here We Go again, but I think I decided to keep it at bay. Yeah. Deployment Tactics is probably better here because that Armageddon does so much damage, so I wanted to push back the damage. There you go. So around that point, you can realize the Deployment Tactics wouldn't last. Well, it would kind of last through the whole battle because later stages he does so much damage to your party, so it'll push out so much damage later on. So it's fine to do Deployment Tactics at the beginning of the battle. There you go. Decided to full break there. Meteor all missed because of Sarah's BSB. Really like that. Point Tactics. I was considering also exchanging Snow for Minfilla and Yestola for Vanille. I don't think... I like Snow a little bit better because of the damage output that he does. But Minfilla also has her own breaks, but I felt like most of the time I would be spamming her attack up, which would be kind of useless in a team with Onion Knight because I want him to do magic attacks. So Snow was kind of the better choice for me. Ultra Spark, there we go. Alright, Power Breakdown. Like I said, I keep switching between the 2 breakdowns and also Soul Breaks. I was kind of getting ready for Onion Knight to mass spam his OSB. Getting the mass spam attacks is pretty important in my strategy. See, super big damage there. And now I started to cast Omega Drive just to get more damage output. I was in a little bit of trouble here. Decided to Vessel of Fate because who was slowed? I think someone was slowed. Someone slowed? I don't know. Or maybe I was waiting. I think I was waiting to do his OSB and in his burst mode. It it would have done more damage output anyway. So it wasn't a big deal. Alright, there we go. Got our magic blink again. Oh yeah, snow is slowed. That's why. And I wasn't going to use Here We Go anytime soon because I wanted to do it in the later phase. There we go, we got our Vessel Fade up. It's kind of getting into the clutch bit of the battle, where you hold on to your seats and hope to God that you won't just automatically die. The late stage of the battle is where it gets a little bit troublesome. Again, here we go, we're almost there. It's pretty much the bit that will fuck you over big time too. So definitely spamming BSBs, healing BSBs here is pretty essential. I knew another AoE was coming up, so that's why I did your Stolar's Asylum. This is where he kind of spams all these AoEs. Here we go. And the only big attack that he does on your team is that one that completely annihilates one character. So having Last Stand here is pretty important now. Boundless Meteor is going to miss most characters anyway. There we go, Asylum, which didn't really matter too much in this stage of the battle, but it was still pretty good. And now I just wanted to spam OSBs. Pretty nice damage there, 53k, without like a pure magic buff. So I was pretty happy about that, so I was ready to spam OSBs there. Now he keeps spamming Boundless Armageddon, does massive damage, but not too bad because I had the Stone Skin. It would put your characters to 1 HP though. And this is the one that does 99999. So at this point, I wanted to do Here We Go straight away, because if he did one more attack on Sarah, she's just automatically dead. And he's going to do it fairly soon too, so there's a chance that he'll do it on the same character as well, which is very, very unlucky. So he does Ultra Spark first, and before Here We Go, I think he does it again. So he does it fairly often, so I was trying to spam as fast as I could. 48. Not bad. I was so close to Here We Go. So close, so close. Is it going to reach? And who's it going to hit? Of course it hits Sarah. So she's dead. And then straight after, Here We Go. Totally useless Last Stand now. So I was like, okay, I've lost this battle. Fairly sad. But I wasn't giving up there. Thought I'd keep going. This was going to do heaps of damage. I was like, okay, fuck mass breakdowns from Onion Knight. I'm always going to be on low HP. And I have the chance to spam Here We Go at least one more time. So I was like, okay, let's do that. Spam Here We Go. Get up Onion Knight's over Soul Break as quick as possible. When he's spamming attacks, it'll do more damage back at him too. So I wasn't worried about the breakdowns with Onion Knight. I was like, okay, let's just fucking do it. And heal as much as I could, just for his other attacks. So I got the Here We Go. Just for your Stolar. And I was prepared when he would do this. Who's it gonna do? Yep, on your Stolar. So very lucky that I got it in. Just in time. And I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's do it really fast. I don't know what's gonna happen. So Armageddon was a pretty good move here, because look how much damage it did without the breakdowns. Absolutely insane damage, and it reflects back at him. Sword and Spell hopefully finishes out the game right now. Finishing it off with style. And it's done. And I had to screenshot it there quite a lot. I was like, I need screenshots of this or else no one's gonna believe me. Super close battle. Definitely really helps to have a native last stand. It's almost essential to have one, I think. There we go. We got all the medals too. Thought I'd screenshot that as well. Anyway guys, that's it for this video. I'll see you guys next time. Good luck on Nemesis if you decide to go for it. Peace out.